Yes, people. What's going on? It's Ziga Talks Football. We're back again with another video. Today's transfer special number 12. Big up Deo in the building for joining us for today's video. And I hope everyone who's watching makes sure you guys do me a big favor and hit the like button on the video. You don't understand how far that goes. And if you want to leave a comment down below and you're watching on the playback, please do leave a comment down below. Let me know where you're watching from and who you'd want Arsenal to sign this summer transfer window. But yeah, England just drew to Denmark. We just witnessed Spain beat Italy. I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm not going to be doing too much Euro 2024 content on this channel this summer. I just feel like I'm so busy with the baby and work, and I'm about to get a new job. So it's just so much going on in my life that I just don't have enough time to do the watch-alongs and the coverage of the Euros. But we will still keep you updated on everything going on with Arsenal and all the latest Arsenal transfer news. Deo, welcome to the show. Hope you're doing well.
I'm good, man. Thanks for having me. It's been a minute. I was just like, yeah, what's going on, Igal? Like, where's Igal? And I know you hit me up a few times, but I was busy as well with work, and we just kept on going. Oh, I'm out shooting. No, I'm missing the time, and it was just one thing or the other. But yeah, man, happy to be back, and yeah, happy to talk about the transfers, Arsenal transfers, like prospective transfers, and we see how that goes. There's a lot of news out there right now, so yeah, there's a lot to be talked about. Yeah.
You know what? Somebody's saying, get me Williams. What do you think about Nico Williams today, man? Because there's a bunch of these guys. There's a bunch of guys. Nico Williams. People are today. I think he put himself on the map.
He's electric. He's electric. You can't. I mean, I watched. I had to watch the game between driving home from work and like as soon as I got home and just try to catch the game while I was still working. And I can tell you that everything that every touch that he had was scary. The minute he was driving forward, you just had this panic that as a defender, as in something is going to happen. The cross that he put through where the own goal was scored, he put that cross through and it touched. Not only did it touch Fabian, right? Fabian glanced the header. Donnarumma glanced the ball with his hand before the defender hit the ball in the net. That's how powerful that shot was. Like it glanced two people on the way, and the third person had to deflect it. He did, so and that's what you get when you put in those kind of crosses in dangerous areas. Most likely deflections, because the ball is so fast, it's so hard, and that tells you that he can hit the ball hard and fast as well. Not only is he good.
Let's go straight into our first topic then. Now that we're here, let's go straight into our first topic. We got 4 wingers that we're potentially looking at. So this is what the rumor is. Arsenal are turning their attentions from a striker to signing a winger rather than a center forward this summer. So which wingers would you sign? So these are the 4 names that we're going to look at. We're going to look at all 4 of them, and we're going to speak about what we know about all 4 of them. But people in the chat, let me know what you guys think about these players and what you think could potentially happen. Now, Deo, before you go and tell me who you want to sign, do you want me to tell you what's going on with each one and how they're linked to Arsenal and where the links come from? Because when it comes to Nico Williams, we and a plethora of different clubs are all linked to Nico Williams. Nico Williams is one of those players that has been linked to Arsenal for a while, and he's touted as one of Spain's top talents at this moment in time. Not only that, he's starting for Spain in the Euros. Him and Lamine Yamal are literally one of the catalysts for their attack, their pace across that wing. And he's playing quite well for them on the left wing today. He didn't have such a great game in the first game, but the story with Nico Williams is quite straightforward. Let me show you where his story comes from. His story comes from HITC. They say that Nico Williams continues to hold out for a move for Barcelona despite talks with Villa, Arsenal, Liverpool, and Newcastle. Seems like a lot of clubs are interested in Nico Williams. He currently plays at Atletico Bilbao, and his price tag does not seem out of reach. As last time I checked, his price tag is in the 50 to 50 million, actually 34 million. That's what they're saying his price tag is. 43 million.
My thing is, I think I'm at the stage where, like, okay, let me talk about the player Nico Williams. I think he's an electric player. I think he's an amazing player, and I think he'll bring levels to Arsenal. But is he what we need? It's the question. He's not going to break the bank. And
is he an upgrade on what we have?
Is he an upgrade? An upgrade on on Martinelli. I'd say
No, upgrade on Reece Nelson.
Upgrade on Reece Nelson, definitely.
That's how I'm viewing it. I'm not looking at Martinelli.
My question is like, with the way he's playing at the Euros right now and how his season went, is he going to want to come to Arsenal and be on the bench? He's not going to want to do that. He'd rather want to go to a club, no matter what it is, where he's going to get first time.
Do Real Madrid think that way?
No, but that's what I'm saying. No. But I'm talking about the player, not us. I'm talking about how the player thinks, Igal. There's a big difference between how the player thinks and how a club thinks. Now, of course, our mentality should be we don't care. We want you because we want all the best players and we want to put you on, even if you're going to be on the bench. That's how big clubs think. I'm talking about a player who, the question is, if a player doesn't want to play for you because you're going to put him on the bench, then I don't want him. You know what I'm saying? Like, I like him. I love his talent. He's an upgrade on Reece Nelson. If Bakayoko wants to come and play for Arsenal, he's an upgrade on Reece Nelson as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I would rather pick any one of them who literally wants to play for the club as well. Because that's the part that is hard. It's like, you get this guy, he doesn't want to play for you because you pay the most money. And he just comes to the club and he loafs around. We saw Nicolas Pepe, not that he didn't want to play for us, but we saw what happened with him. It was literally a waste of money. So I don't care about the money side. I'm just asking questions about the players' mentality and where they are at. Us as an Arsenal club, and me as an Arsenal fan and supporting Arsenal, I believe that we need to change our mentality and not be attached to players. Tomorrow, I kid you not, if Rodrigo is free and he can come in and take the position of Bukayo Saka, I don't care. If he's better, he's better. That's what I want.
That is
no, that's how I am. I'm saying I'm that brutal. Like, for me, look, honestly speaking, if I get a player who's better than you and they're willing to come to play for the club, I'm taking them. I'm snapping them up. You just have to fight for your position. You don't have an option. That's how the big clubs think. I mean, Rodrigo and Mbappe going to Madrid now, Rodrigo is going to be fighting for his dear life. He's going to have to show that he needs to still be on that front line. And that's what the big clubs do. So, yeah, he's a player that I think if he comes in, he will push Bukayo Saka literally to the brink. I think he has that talent to be able to do that.
Let's shift to the next player. Big up everybody watching in the stream right now. Do me a favor, make sure you do hit that like button right now. The next player is none other than Xavi Simons. So let's talk about Xavi Simons. We got 67, we got 69 of you guys in the chat. We should at least be on 35 plus likes. Xavi Simons, Manchester United and Arsenal are learning about the potential mammoth transfer fee for Xavi Simons. Guess how much the transfer fee is, my friend?
It's 100 million euros. I heard Bayern. There's I saw it on Sports Bill.
85 million pounds.
Yeah, that's 100 million euros. That's what I'm saying. 100 million euros. 85 million pounds.
85 million pounds. That's what they're saying for Xavi Simons. So what do you think?
Yeah, that's ridiculous. He's ridiculous. I think it's ridiculous.
I think we could. There's room for negotiation. What you could do is you could potentially say loan for a year with an option to buy at 70 million or 60 million, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I mean, if they take the loan for a year, but PSG, we already know what they're looking for right now. They've loaned this guy out so many times right now that at this stage
they don't want to sell. They want to wait another year so they can get the full transfer fee. Because if they sell this year, the reason why it's so high is because, just to give you a little bit of the backstory, is because there's a sell-on clause at Barcelona.
Yeah, I get that. I mean, but for me, like my question is he worth that 70 million in a year's time after a loan, 60 million in a year's time after a loan spell of one season?
He's an exciting player.
He's an exciting player, but does he walk into the Real Madrid first team? Like, this is the thing for me now. This is where I'm at with my mentality.
Why are we talking about Real Madrid?
No, hear what I'm saying. I'm saying that's the level of player that I really want us to go for. So, like, players that can walk into the Real Madrid, like players that, of course, because Madrid already have the full squad, but players that I know that, look, if Madrid wanted you, they're getting you, because that's the level we have to be playing at now. What we need to step into the tier 1. I still see us as tier 2.
Is he somebody who Real Madrid would go for? I don't think so.
I don't think so.
But one thing I will tell you is, I don't think at this moment in time, when it comes to what we're looking for, he's our number one option. I think he's near the bottom of our list.
Yeah.
At this moment in time. That's just me. Because if we could get him on loan, maybe we would. But 85 million, Arsenal not paying 85 million for Xavi Simons.
Yeah.
I rate Xavi Simons highly. I like him. I would want to sign him. But 85 million for Xavi Simons just does not sound like we would pull the trigger on that. Now, there is new news on another player, though. Let me show you who the next player is. Let's see if somebody's mentioned him in the chat. Has somebody mentioned that player in the chat? No, nobody's mentioned this player. Guess who the next player is, guys? He plays for a club lower down the table, Portuguese. Who is it?
Viktor Gyokeres.
Nah, Pedro
Neto. Oh, Pedro Neto.
Yeah. So what happened with Pedro Neto is we've been interested in him year after year after year. It looks like Arsenal could revive their interest into Pedro Neto. And this could be a situation where instead of going for Xavi Simons, Nico Williams, we go for a Pedro Neto. And
he's prime proven.
He could be available this season. The only issue is he has a massive injury history, but Arsenal could revive their interest. Let's be honest. This source right here is one of the top sources. People don't respect it, but Dean Jones was one of the first people to say Declan Rice was going to Arsenal a year before we even signed him. Arsenal are seriously in for him. So if he's saying it, he's not just saying it out of nowhere. He has close sources to both Wolves and Arsenal. So there might be a potential departure from Wolves this summer. And if Pedro Neto is a reasonable price, this is a player who can fill in on
I just hate that he has so many injuries, Miguel. Like this is and this is what I was telling somebody about.
He's still so young though.
I know, but the point is we need availability is the best ability to me.
But you manage him. He's 24 years old, bro.
I agree, but availability is still, listen to what I'm saying. I agree with you. We can manage him, but if he gets injured and he's out for 7, 8, 9 games, 10 games, 11 games, and he's not available, then it's no, that means we're just buying future prospect. But we're buying somebody who, when we finish managing him and his injuries no longer plague him, then he can actually then start, performing for us.
Let's see what's his injuries. Majority of his injuries are muscular and knee injuries. So hamstring, ankle, knee, muscle, calf. You know what? We look at his injuries. He's been kind of unlucky because he had a major ankle injury, a major knee injury. Outside of that, he's been relatively healthy for 2 years between that.
Yeah, but in recent times as well, like the thing is, knee injuries are recurring injuries until you have like the major surgery and all of that. And I'm no doctor or anything, but I mean, from everything I've read, everything I've seen, most players who have knee injuries, it reoccurs until they do some type of major surgery and they're out for a while, and then they come back, and then that's when you see like it's not as he gone out and done that. No, maybe they've just been managing his injuries, nursing it. He's too injury prone, and whatever price they're going to be asking for, I just think if we took that money, put it together. I know people don't want to hear this, but look, if we're going to go winger, let's just go big. Let's go Rafa Leal, or let's just throw the money at Rodrigo. He knows Mbappe is at Madrid now, and just go to him and say, here's 110 million, give us Rodrigo. Forget all this chase.
I know Rodrigo's not on the table at this moment.
He's not. I'm just saying, like, I would take all
final player. The final player on the table is Marcus Rashford. Manchester United are considering selling Marcus Rashford. Suitable offer available. He tells the club that he wants to leave. However, they are not proactively looking to sell the player. This was from David Onstein back in April. This is something that is consistently being brought up and being re-brought to the table. Could Marcus Rashford be the guy?
I like him. I like Rashford. I think Rashford is a talent, and I think Rashford would do well in Arsenal. What I don't like is his wages and the price that they're gonna quote for him. I'm not taking Rashford at 300 and whatever plus thousand a week. Like it don't make no sense. And if you negotiate with his agents, they wouldn't want to take anything less, because of course they get the percentages off what his package deal is as well. So for me, it's a no on the financial side of things. But if Manchester United are willing to let him go at a cut price and he's willing to renegotiate his wages, I think Rashford is a quality player. I just think he's in the wrong club right now at this stage in his career. he should have left. He should have left Manchester United a couple of seasons ago. When people were coming for him, when the likes of PSG and the rest of them were knocking the door, he should have left. He's just been very unlucky in this last couple of seasons where he's played very well 2 seasons ago, and then last season he just looked really crap. I think there's a massive player in there, and if we're gonna get him, it just has to be at the right price. I'm not, if I'm going to pay premium for anybody, that person has to be somebody who I know. Okay, first, 75 to 80% of all the things that is needed is checked. Your injury is not consistently crazy. Okay, so you're available. Who would I pick here? If I wanted to pick somebody here based on recency bias and based on current form, I would say Nico Williams.
Okay. Ranking based on most expensive, it's Rashford is the most expensive. Second most expensive is of course Xavi Simons. Then Pedro Neto, and the cheapest is actually Nico Williams. So Nico Williams, based on being the cheapest deal and the most affordable deal, he makes the most sense. That's what you're saying.
No, I'm saying based on talent. On talent, I can put. I mean, outside Rashford, I can maybe Rashford and Neto. I can just say probably because they both played in the Prem, they've already understand how the Prem is, and I could put both of them on like a tier 1 thing. But you're talking
just rank them. Just rank them.
If I'm going to rank them on talent based, I would say I have to look at their record as well, how long they've been playing. So I would say Rashford. I would say Rashford. I would say Neto. Then I'd say right now Nico, and then Xavi Simons. Like, so that would be my rating, my ranking as regards to experience, how they play, and who I think has had it better, like as regards to like talent in their prime. So Rashford in his prime for me, at the age that these guys are right now, I think he was better than them. Rashford in his prime at that time. For me.
You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna make a poll and I'm gonna need everyone to get involved. So you let me know who you would sign, people in the chat. So you're saying Nico Williams. Some people in the chat are saying Rashford. Some people in the chat are saying I'll be honest, from this list, I don't think people are picking Xavi Simons over any of the other guys.
Definitely not. I mean, like I said,
I think Pedro Neto, based on his injury record, is probably on the bottom of the list.
Mm-hmm.
Rashford and Nico Williams are the two most intriguing, but the price difference makes
it's not just the price difference again. For me, Rashford is at the top of the list. My problem with that is his wages is going to be a big issue for Arsenal. Like we are going to have to take on. He's going to want to be earning what he's earning right now at Manchester United or a little more. Now, that is where I kind of feel like the big clubs, right? Go look at the Madrids and co. Apart from maybe Mbappe, who's coming now at a ridiculous price, like you don't really know what the guys they're earning, and it's almost like everybody's like there's a wage cap, But we bring in Rashford, who hasn't won anything with us, hasn't done anything for the club, and then he's now going to be the highest paid in the club. I don't think that sends a good message to the rest of the players who have been working so hard to keep us where we are at, challenging and trying to take us over the line. So for me, that's a key thing as well. You can't just bring we did something similar with Kai Havertz, which I thought was stupid, but at the end of the day, we quickly wrote out new contracts for a lot of players and increased their wages and brought them more close to each other. So are we going to have to do that again with Rashford now that he's earning 300 and something?
We're going to have to wait and see. But before we go any further, do me a favor, guys. Hit that like button. We still haven't spoken about Amadou Onana. We still haven't spoken about Bruno Guimaraes. We still haven't spoken about Viktor Gyokeres. But before we do that, we need to talk about two stories. One, did you hear about the injuries? There's been 3 injuries within the Arsenal camp. 3 injuries. Okay. First one, everyone probably watched the Scotland-Switzerland game and seen Kieran Tierney go off injured. That was a really bad injury, and we're going to talk about that in a second. The next one, William Saliba apparently is training with the French in the French training camp, training by himself. But there's another one, and when I tell you Militao did not give a shit that Martinelli was on his team, he just absolutely took him out and could have injured him seriously. Check this video out. Did you see what just happened?
I saw it.
Watch it again. The man literally had him, flipped him, and gave him a concussion. Martinelli got a concussion from
in training.
Militao, and the absolute waste man walks away like this. Look at how he walks away. I'm not gonna lie to you, that really pissed me off. You have the whole Brazil thing there. He seemed okay, but apparently he got concussed, and he won't be able to play in the next game.
Yeah, I also heard that Gabriel Magalhaes has some shoulder discomfort thing going on with him. I don't know how true that is. Gabriel Magalhaes said he has a shoulder discomfort thing. These guys I mean, international football is great and all of that. Just come back safely, please, so we can have a good season. Because the last thing we want is after the Euros and then we're about to start the league, all you have is like 4 or 5 players already injured. That was a crazy tackle for practice. Like, you're not even, for practice, that was a crazy tackle. It don't make no sense.
Yeah. And then, bro, Kieran Tierney's injury is even worse. Did you see what happened to Tierney?
I missed it, actually. I saw the game. I caught the game.
Let me give you the full lowdown. So Kieran Tierney is playing in the Scotland game, and he's going past somebody. He's running as normal, and then he just gets clattered. If I'm not mistaken. One second. My mistake. I'm looking at the wrong thing. So this is what happened. This was yesterday. This was today. Kieran Tierney collapsed and fell due to an injury. Image shows Kieran Tierney crying. This was in the 59th minute, and the opposition player landed in a bad position. Immediately, the collision, Kieran Tierney collapsed in pain and was taken off in a stretcher. It's not a minor injury. At this moment in time, they don't know exactly what it is. But let me see if there's any updates.
Yeah, I mean, I read that they said they still have to assess it. But yeah,
they just
that
don't know.
He won't play the last
images. But the images were terrible. Like, they didn't show any injury like issues, but you could see like he got stretchered off. He was crying. Yeah. It was just.
I saw those, and that's what I was. I mean, like, I caught the game after his injury. And then I heard that he was injured, and I was like, oh, but I thought maybe it was just maybe something minor. I still haven't seen any of the footage or anything.
So that is what's going on with him. And then for William Saliba, it's pretty straightforward. William Saliba is nothing to panic, nothing to worry about. He's just training separately from the French team because of muscular pain. So I think that's quite normal.
Yeah,
the players when they have any light issue to be training separately and to not be training with the first team. So yeah, that's just the injury updates on William Saliba, Gabriel Martinelli, and Kieran Tierney. But the Kieran Tierney one is going to hurt because now we're not going to be able to sell him as easily as we would wanted to or would have been able to.
Like they said, they need to assess it. And of course, he got stretchered off, because one thing I've also come to learn is sometimes, you just keep your fingers crossed that a stretchered off player, it was just in that moment that the pain was so acute that he needed to be stretchered off. The minute you get out there and maybe a few weeks of, therapy or whatever it is, physiotherapy and all that, you might be back in form. And it might be something that requires a quick operation, as long as it's not an ACL, or it's not one of those injuries like knee ligament tear or something that he needs to wait months to heal. I think hopefully, fingers crossed, he gets back ASAP, and we're able to find someone. If we can't sell him, we loan him somewhere. Because it's going to be like last minute.
No worries, bro. Let's move on to the next topic. Before we go any further, did somebody say something? David Onstein said something? Nah, David Onstein. What happened to Osimhen? Suddenly vanishing act. Nah, man.
No,
Osimhen, we'll see. We'll come back to that. I don't know if anything's gonna happen yet, but we're gonna have to come back to that. Let's talk about the next thing. Did you see this?
I think with Musiala, he justifies the hype. I think Declan Rice is very overrated.
Who's speaking?
Don't get me wrong.
Oh,
this is James McClean. former teammate of Declan Rice in the Irish national team, and he is another one of those guys in the media who's currently still an active player. He plays for Wrexham right now.
No wonder he looks like Frankenstein. You know, like the Frankenstein monster, like that has the screw in the side of the head.
Name his looks and
No, I'm not shaming. I'm not shaming his looks. I'm saying he does. Like literally, that's like he just put the screws. Like literally, I'm not dissing him. Like this is how this is the haircuts, everything. Put the screws. Boom. Halloween costume. I'm not. Yeah, that's not shaming.
So he is about to go in on Declan Rice, and I think this is one of those media attacks once again for a player for no apparent reason. We're going to start it from the beginning, and what he says about Declan Rice and what this man here next to him says about Declan Rice and Roy Keane, and their whole logic is illogical. What we're going to do is we're going to debunk them. We're going to speak about it, and we're really going to deep dive in what the hell is this? Is this just a salty player? And who is he to even speak about him? 35 years old, he's still playing, and he's talking like this. Crazy. Let's continue.
I think with Musiala, he justifies the hype.
So he says Musiala justifies the hype, by the way.
I think Declan Rice is very overrated.
So Musiala justifies the hype, but Declan Rice is overrated. And when you hear his explanation, it contradicts the fact that Musiala justifies the hype, because what he's about to say contradicts that itself. But continue.
Don't get me wrong, I think he's a very good footballer, but the way the English media wax lyrical about him, I think it's completely over the top. Like, for me, he's not world class. World class to me is someone who gets in every single side in the world, and I don't think he does that.
Does Musiala get into every side in the world, my boy? Does Musiala get into every side in the world?
This guy has got to be like, I don't understand.
Should we continue or should we?
No, I just want to, let me address that. Like, I don't understand where he's coming from with that statement as regards to saying, like, I think Musiala will get into some teams in the side of the world, and I think Declan Rice too as well will get into some teams in the side of the world. There's certain teams that you might not be able to break into just because you are not the number one in that position that you're playing in, right?
Exactly.
And that's fair enough. In that team, you might not be able to get into that team. But every other team outside that, is Musiala the best player in his position in the world?
No.
He's not. He's not. He might be top 5 or top 10 talent-wise. You could say, okay, right, he's in.
Does Musiala start at Real Madrid?
I don't see him starting at Real Madrid. I don't see it.
You see him starting at Man City?
I don't see the current Man City team. No, I don't see him starting at Man City. So what I'm saying is that exactly no. So Declan Rice, because of the role that he plays, for example, I don't see Declan Rice starting at Man City because of Rodri.
You have to listen to his explanation.
But I see Declan Rice starting in Bayern. Bayern will take Rice.
I see Declan Rice starting in a lot of teams.
In a lot of good teams.
I see Declan Rice even starting at Man City. You play him in the 8. But hey, that's just me. But listen to what he says. It's even crazier.
I don't think he gets in the Man City side ahead of Rodri. I don't think he gets in. I know Cruz is now retired, but to me, Toni Kroos is world class. It dictates the game. Rodri dictates the game. I don't think Declan Rice does that.
Because Declan Rice doesn't dictate the game the same way as Rodri and Toni Kroos. He's saying that's why he doesn't rate him and he thinks he's overrated. Listen to the next sentence. It makes it even worse.
He's not someone who's going to get on the half turn, play passes forward. He's very good at what he does.
Is he not a different type of player, James?
Well, they play in the same role. So
what the fuck?
Okay, so this is the thing I need to. This is the part that kills me, right? When people try to compare players because they are in the same role, their approach to playing does not have to be the same. That is like it's like boxing, right? Because we're in the same weight category, right? Does that mean that you and I have to fight the same way? I can have a different style of fighting. Some fighters are defensive, and some fighters are offensive. So for this guy to sit here who actually plays ball, this guy kicks ball. This dude speaking,
he's still active.
Yeah, and I'm saying, and he's sitting there and saying, because Declan doesn't play like Rodri or Toni Kroos, so he's not world class. Because Declan plays in his own style.
He's not done. He continues to waffle. Hear this out.
They play the same role, so why can't they do the same things?
Oh my god!
Bro, so why can't they do the
Oh
same
my
thing?
god!
Oh my god!
They don't.
That's
They
like
don't have.
saying,
They don't
you
have
know
the
what
same
that's
manager.
like?
They don't have
You
the
know what
same
that's like?
manager.
This is a professional footballer. This is a professional footballer. He still plays for Wrexham. He plays on the wing.
Sadly, this guy, professional. He's a professional waffler. He's not a.
Bro,
he needs
this
to
man
quit.
is a professional footballer somehow. And he's talking about two players. They play the same position, so they should be able to do the same thing. Are you going to tell me that Tony Kroos is not a good player because he can't score goals and assists like Gundogan, or Gundogan is not a good player because he can't?
No. Tony Kroos is not even a good DM because he doesn't play like Rodri. After all, Rodri plays for the best team right now in the world, as everybody says. And Tony Kroos also plays for the best team as well. Well, we'll say Real Madrid.
But you know what it is?
They don't play alike. They don't have the same style. So
based on his logic, because these two can't do the same role, one of them is bad. One of them is bad.
I mean, at the end of the day, here's what I say to people like that. People who are, I don't blame him. I blame the network that gave him the platform to come sit down and speak. If you don't interview the people that you're bringing on your shows that you want to come and speak, and you just assume that because they play football, they have sense. Assumption is when you make an ass out of you and me. That's all they've done.
He's not done. He's not done. To me, it's because he's Irish. And he was a former teammate of Declan Rice's when he was in the Irish national team. And I bet you any money he was heaping his praises. But now that he's picked England, a lot of Irish people are probably going to hate on Declan Rice because he switched allegiances from Ireland to England. If you didn't know, he actually played for the Irish national team, but he didn't have enough caps to have him locked with the Irish national team.
Yeah.
So he then made the decision to move over to the England team. And credit to him, it's gotten him a major move, and he's played in the World Cup numerous times. He played in the Euros numerous times, and it's a good career decision for him. But it just seems like James McClean.
If you're going to give him this much of a hype and reputation, then surely he should be able to do what they do, is to get the ball in the half turn, play passes forward, and dictate the play. I don't think he does that. He's good at what he does. He sees danger and he puts out fires, but for the hype that surrounds him, then I don't think it's justified.
So the hype isn't justified because he doesn't live up to.
Because he doesn't. No. He's specific. He's very specific about what he wants Declan to do. And if Declan does that, then he will rate Declan as world class, which is receive the ball on the half, in the middle of the park. Make a half turn and play the pass forward. Okay. You've been specific. Like that is the one thing that he says Declan doesn't do that doesn't make him world class. Literally, he didn't.
No, but then he started off by saying his criteria of world class is players who get into every team in the world, and he said Musiala is world class, but Declan Rice isn't.
No, but that's what I keep telling people. Like world class for me is, I keep saying it like
subjective.
It's subjective because at the end of the day, you can get into a lot of teams. If we're talking in the position that you play, if they count the 10 best players in the world, are you in that number? Are you in that list? Then I categorize you guys as world class. Like that's how I decide. I just say, look, in the role that you play, let's say like a goalkeeper role, who are the 10 best goalkeepers in the world? It doesn't matter what league they're in. It doesn't matter. Like I look at the 10
but you
best,
know something?
And then, that's how I categorize world class.
Someone here says Declan Rice is overrated as F. Declan Rice might be overrated. Don't get me wrong. But his argument went from overrated to he's not world class, he's not this, he's not that, and then his argument is flawed. And it just comes down to his whole conversation around Declan Rice being overrated is because he can't do certain things that other players can do.
He can't receive the ball in the middle of the pitch.
Yeah, so
on the half turn.
You can say Declan Rice is you can say Declan Rice is overrated. Sorry, bro. You can say Declan Rice is overrated because when we compare him to other players, nobody's sitting here comparing him to Sergio Busquets. Nobody here is actually sitting here and saying he's 100 times better than Rodri. We're just saying if Rodri is number one in the league, Declan Rice is close second. At least that's what I'm saying. People who are sitting here and saying, oh, Declan Rice is the best defensive midfielder in the world. I think that's sometimes it's satire or it's flippant. You know what I mean? Sometimes it's just what people say.
I think as a DM, Declan makes the top 10 DMs.
Top 3?
And that's no top, like I'm saying top, let's say top 10 in Europe, because if you say in the Premiership top 3, he's top 3 in the Premiership. But if you say in Europe, because there's also a bunch of other good DMs everywhere, he'll make top 10. And for me, that makes you world class because
he has 0 technically. Come on, bro.
You know, so for me, that's the bottom line. Like when people say certain things, they just say it out of banter, and I've come to realize that that's what the internet is about now. It's all about,
and listen to this
just
final pundit.
Look at people through banter and just speak through banter. That's what people do now. Nobody wants to be objective.
We're just short on time because I know you have to go in like 20 minutes. But listen to this.
We go into Hungary just because he's brought up. What was the phrase you used? What did you liken him to earlier?
Yeah, it was a poor man's Roy Keane, I suppose. He's a similar style of play without maybe his intensity and aggression.
Oh.
So this guy just comes on as a tag along, trying to come on at the end with his clickbait moment also. And he's like, he's a poor man's Roy Keane without the physicality and the intensity.
No, but you see, but you know the funny thing. You see, here's what's funny about his analogy. He's comparing Declan to Roy Keane. He didn't pick a player that nobody knows that is useless because he knows. You see, when people know that you're good and they just want to banter you, they suddenly start comparing you with who they think is the best in that role. That's why when people always say things like, "Oh," like any rival fan that tells me this person is better than Saka, I'm like, you guys don't rate Saka, so why are you comparing your best player with Saka? Like, if you don't rate him and you say he's useless, you have to pick a struggle, right? If you're going to speak about a player, you have to pick a struggle.
Yeah, did you see recently?
If you don't rate him, you don't put him in the same conversation and say like Roy Keane. No, you say, listen, man, do you know one player called Thomas Flinkling that played in 1916? The guy was a DM, and the guy was the guy who allowed 20-something goals in 3 matches. That's who I liken Declan Rice to. Then I know that you don't rate Declan Rice. When you start speaking about the greats, the good ones, and you're saying, well, I think Declan is not as good as Roy Keane. Bruh, nobody said he was. That's just the thing.
But then out of nowhere, you want to make a story out of it. It's funny. It's funny. You got to laugh at this point. You have to laugh. Because if you don't laugh, you're just going to look at them and you're going to be like,
I just ignore it. Like, that's why when people tell me things like statements like, oh, Palmer is better than Saka, or I'm just like,
Saka should play left back for England.
No. Or when they say so, I just laugh and I say, well, I'm glad you're comparing the player that you rate with Saka, because I thought you didn't rate Saka. I thought Saka is a shit player. Like, if he's such a crap player, the fact that you're comparing someone that you rate and you're saying he's better than him, it means it's either Saka is so bad that your player is just the best of the worst, the person you're comparing him with, or Saka is so good that your player has now etched Saka by, a notch, which means they're in a stratosphere of their own. So I don't argue anyway. Yeah, I don't argue.
We're gonna end it. We're gonna end that section there, and these guys can look silly as much as they want. But let's. But before you go, guys, do me a favor. Please do hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, and let's get on to the next topic. So the next topic is going to be Bruno Guimaraes. Update on Bruno G, guys. Yeah. Bruno G's release clause is officially up in 4 days. In 4 days, we will have an understanding of what he will be doing. Will he be staying or will he be leaving Newcastle? If he does leave Newcastle, Arsenal and Man City seem to be the 2 clubs that are seriously interested in him. And Arsenal are preparing a player plus cash swap deal. I don't know if it's going to happen, if they're going to want any of our players in a swap deal, but we are going to try a thing to give them some players, maybe Kieran Tierney, maybe try to offer them a Lokonga,
I know who I'll offer them. The player that they wanted at the very beginning, and they said the money was too much. That's why they didn't want
Ramsdale.
Newcastle wanted Ramsdale. Ramsdale needs to leave. Ramsdale wants to leave because Ramsdale wants first team play. I will offer them Ramsdale. I will offer them cash, and I will take Bruno G.
But would they take it?
They want. Look, these guys are about to go buy a 15 million euro goalkeeper. That's what they wanted to do because they have to be in financial fair play. If we package a deal right for them with Ramsdale in it and say, okay, here you go. Like, in fact, let me tell you what I would do, right? Let me tell you what I would do.
Okay.
I would be as crazy as this. I would package Ramsdale. Listen to this. I would package Ramsdale. I would package Reece Nielsen, and I'll package Emil Smith-Rowe. Listen to this. And I'll go to Newcastle and I'll say, give me Bruno Guimaraes and Alexander Isak. And I'll give you cash with these 3 players.
No. They're not going to give up Isak.
No,
I'm giving Isak a new deal, bro.
That's what I'm just telling you. That's why I said it's crazy. I said it's a crazy concept. That's why I said it's crazy. But that's what I would test them. I would test them. They're looking for. I mean, they're giving him a new deal. Great, but if they got 3 players, I mean, Emil Smith-Rowe just he's falling down in the pecking order in Arsenal, so he's not going to get a lot of minutes. He might get a lot of minutes at Newcastle. Ramsdale will get a lot of minutes at Newcastle, probably be their number one goalkeeper. And then if I give them the third person, which is Reece Nelson, they have a sub right winger, left winger, somebody who can play on both sides on the bench. Great. With cash, give me Isak, give me Bruno Guimaraes. And let's call that deal done, and then we can move on to other parts of our team that we can get players for. It sounds crazy, but I know no team will take that offer. It's just me wishful thinking.
I'm just gonna wait. There's 4 more days before his release clause is up. I'll wait to see what happens from there. From right now, I'm not gonna lie to you. I think Arsenal are interested, but we're not gonna go anywhere near the £100 million valuation. It's gonna have to be 75 million max, I think. And if we do a player swap, that's gonna be like 60, maybe 50 max if we try to put a player, because we value Aaron Ramsdale quite highly. Now, we are also linked to a left back of theirs before we go on to the final 2 stories, Onana and Gyokeres. Left back who's playing for Turkey right now in the Turkish national team. He played quite well, actually, to be fair, in the first game. Apparently, Arsenal made a serious offer of 20 million euros, and Dortmund have also reached a 25 million pound conversation with the club. They're looking to spend that, but their club wants around 35 million. To me, this looks more like agent talk. I don't think this is legitimate in the sense that Arsenal have actually bid for the player, but that's what they're trying to say. They're trying to say Arsenal have made a serious 20 million pound bid for the player a couple weeks ago, but we still haven't heard official news from David Ornstein or Fabrizio stating that is true.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, like I don't know much about this player, and I've only seen like his. I don't watch Turkish.
You watched the Turkey game?
Yeah, I watched the Turkey game, and that's why I said, apart from that game, like I can't judge him. It's a very small sample size for me to judge him off and be like, but if people are carrying rumors that we've already put in a bid for him, I don't think that's a good thing for him. On his side as a player, when your agents are going out there and telling lies about, because it's not been corroborated anywhere else. And if it is true, maybe maybe his agent has had talks with somebody in Arsenal who said, oh, if we're going to bid for him, we can't bid anything more than 25. Like the person just said it flipped like that. This is where we cap him at. We don't look. The agent then comes and says, look, they bid 25, just to try to sweeten the story. I don't think that's fair on the player. You represent the player, do the right thing. I saw just that one game of him, so it's a very small sample size for me to judge him by, but I think he looked good. And that's all I can say for now.
Let me ask you about Onana. Are you pro or against Onana for 50 million? Do you think that's crazy?
I wouldn't say no to Onana. I can't say no to Onana.
You like Onana?
I like Onana. Onana showed us hell on high waters in the last game of the season. He did. Yes, he did. He literally bossed us around in that midfield. He literally, I mean, yeah, we won, we played, we looked good, we played well, but there are certain times in the midfield where I was just like, this dude, come on, slow down. Like, he really is. I think he's a physical like specimen when it comes to playing the profile that we want in the middle of the pitch there. And if we have someone like him, that frees up Declan Rice in the 8. And remember, we still have Declan's gas pump where he likes to go up and down and still come back and help defend. I think he will be solid. If Partey leaves, he also has Premiership experience.
You know what the people say though? Like my boy Kunle was on here. He's like, bro, this guy's not technically gifted. He doesn't have the passing ability. These are the questions. People really question him, similar to how they questioned Declan Rice before he came.
I think most people don't, because they didn't watch him all season. They literally, most fans watch Arsenal playing another team and just watch Arsenal. They don't watch the other team. They don't really. Anytime the other team does something, they try to make an excuse like, it's because Declan Rice did not see it and then he slipped and that's why he dribbled him. No, he was dribbled by Declan. This guy dribbled Declan. Simple. He's that gifted. There are games that you watch and you have to be fair when you watch the game. So because they're very biased in their opinion when we try to buy such players. For example, I know someone who when I mentioned Bruno Guimaraes, I don't like his attitude because of stuff he's done on the pitch, but I rate his ability. And when I mentioned him, he said, "Oh, Bruno Guimaraes is not a good player. He's just always fighting and getting everybody angry." I said, "No, you see, you're being sentimental. You're not looking at the talent of the player. You're not looking at technicalities of the player. You're not looking at what he's capable of doing. You're just looking at the one time he elbowed one of our players in the back and the one time he tried to choke another player. So for you, that's what you've painted him as. You've totally neglected how good he is."
I think if we get Onana for 50 million, people are going to look at it and they're going to say to themselves, how did they get this guy for 50 million? They're going to say to themselves, he's at least a 60 or 70 million plus. Because when you think about it, how much did Man City pay for Núñez recently? How much did Liverpool pay? Like, if you think about it, Arsenal are building a tall, physical team. We are not going to get bullied by nobody. People are saying, "Oh, what about the technical ability? What about this?" He has that. He has the ability to pass.
And that's another thing. Technical ability can be taught.
This guy at Lille, and I know what he was capable of at Lille. And people are talking about, "Oh, he's not that good at passing because he plays for Everton, a team that doesn't really pass the ball that often." Stop it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just wanted to get onto this. Deo, we're going to talk on the last topic because we need to talk about the Viktor Gyokeres before we go. And this is from the Sport Witness. The Sport Witness have said that Arsenal are very close to signing the 43-goal forward, Viktor Gyokeres. Only that means we haven't done shit. What the hell are they talking about, mate?
These guys are crazy.
What the hell are they talking about? I love how they say the deal is close, very close. But the only thing holding it back is agreeing transfer fees and agreeing personal terms. Like that, isn't that the whole transfer? What the fuck?
That is the whole transfer. It's ridiculous when people say the deal is close. I think it's just that to me. That's just clickbait. They're just like let's do this. People are going to jump on it. And of course, anytime you talk about Arsenal anywhere, Twitter, anywhere, everybody wants to hop on Arsenal and just be like, ah. So it's cool. Like I know this for me. Look, any one of these strikers that Arsenal gets, I'm okay with. If you get Viktor Gyokeres, I'm okay with him. If you get me Alexander Isak, I'm okay with him. If you get me Osimhen, I'm okay with him.
I'm about to buy a house, okay? But I still need to agree the mortgage, and I still need to go agree for which house I'm gonna buy.
Yeah. That's
basically what they're saying.
That's what they're saying. Like, you're about to buy a house. You have to agree with the owner of the house how much they want to sell it yet, and then what you pay the bank for mortgage. So you're still, but I'm about to buy the house. These guys are jokers. They're clowns.
It's like saying, I'm gonna get the keys Friday, but I still haven't gotten my mortgage. What are you talking about?
What are you? Yeah, how much is your mortgage? I don't really know what I'm going to be paying on the monthly, but I'm still working on that. Then you're not going to move into the house. It's like I think they do this. Yeah, they do this to just banter or just trigger like Arsenal fans who are like, and I'm happy about something that Arsenal has started doing in recent times, which is we're keeping our transfers very quiet. There's so many people linking us to this and that and this and that, but if you listen to the people, the press people, sports analysts, sports press people who report on the transfers that we trust, every time they mention Arsenal, they're like, Arsenal is going to be busy. We just don't have anything for you right now.
Someone told me to check Eduardo Higgins to see what he tweeted. He didn't tweet nothing crazy, man. He just said that Arsenal recruitment team admire Nico Williams and remind me of Martinelli on the wide left, runs at defenders every time. It's nothing. It's not even like nothing. But let's stay on the Viktor Gyokeres conversation. Viktor Gyokeres, the deal is close apparently. I don't think this is true at all. I think this is the agent putting out information or Sporting trying to just draw.
Sporting is trying to raise their followers on Twitter. That's all this is about. I think these guys just sat down, did their research. Yeah. They asked ChatGPT, what topic can we talk about when it comes to football transfers and Arsenal that will give us people following us? And ChatGPT said,
so Eduardo Higgins actually tweeted out the article and he quoted out some more of the information. So this is what he wrote down. Major news: Viktor Gyokeres' deal is very close to Arsenal. Only the financial deal details remain. The deal is now very advanced. The deal is expected to be done by the end of the month. I have no belief in my mind that by the end of the month, Arsenal will make some signings before the beginning of July. But a deal for Viktor Gyokeres, which is going to potentially cost 85 million, we'll get it before preseason, but I don't think it's going to be something that is done instantly. Like, I haven't even heard of any official bids being submitted. So before I start getting excited,
that's what I just said. That's why I like the way we're moving. We're moving in the shadows. Arsenal before, we would have known, the news would have been out there. Somebody would have leaked something. Arsenal is moving in the shadows, and it makes my heart content. I want to trust. I want to trust and believe.
What's going on.
Yeah, I want to trust and believe, because I remember I saw Fabrizio's live. I was watching that live, and somebody asked him, like, "Oh, something about Arsenal," like a question, and when they're asking questions, like, "What's the update on Arsenal?" Fabrizio said, "Well, nothing. I have nothing for you right now, but I do know one thing for sure: Arsenal is going to be very busy in the coming weeks. But I have nothing for you right now."
This is what he said.
But they like to work like this, so it's more difficult for Liverpool. For us to understand on daily basis the Liverpool strategy. But when it's about negotiations, trust me, they are working on that. And same for Arsenal also. Arsenal are also working behind the scenes. So
yeah, he was basically asked about Arsenal and Liverpool, and he was basically telling everybody that he has no idea, but they're working behind the scenes, and you guys need to chill. You're right, Deo. Football journalists are just chat GBT merchants now.
That's it, man.
Bro, they find a way. I gotta give credit to Fabrizio Romano. Fabrizio Romano has found a way to milk a transfer every single day for the whole entire week and not have any new information. Like, do you know how many updates these guys give that are absolutely nothing updates? There's nothing new in the update.
That's why I ignore it. Like, for me, I'm just like, the only thing I want to hear is that they're working behind the scenes. If I trust that you're working behind the scenes, look, Declan Rice deal, I did not think we were going to pull it off.
Oh, by the way,
another deal that surprised me last season. Sorry. Okay, yeah.
Eduardo Hagen got his stuff from the same article we just looked at. Anyways, continue.
Yeah, I was going to say, like, Kai Havertz deal was a deal that came out of left field for me. I didn't even know Arsenal was working on Kai Havertz deal. See, when we move in the shadows like that, I'm happy. So if we're moving in the shadows in the right direction, and we bring our players to light when the time is right, and we say, hey, guess what, guys, hi, guess what, Newcastle and us, we finally agreed. Here's Bruno, and guess what, here is Victor Osimhen. Yeah, all right, cool. If they come tomorrow and they say, hey, guess what, here's Gyokeres, and here's whoever we're getting in midfield and whoever we're getting right wing, I want to trust that now they've learned what we need for us to go to that next level, because all we needed last season was one game to win the league. And I don't think that spending 130 million on a striker will give us that extra one game, and especially on a striker that might get injured. We never know who, what the status of things will be in the season. So my thing is, let's strengthen across every aspect of the pitch. Get good strikers in front, get a good striker, get a midfielder, a DM, get a right winger, and possibly another left back. If we can do that, where we have like for like, in games like Fulham, West Ham, where the players were finding it hard to score, change them and bring in the next person. Look at us. We were playing Bayern in the Champions League. We needed a goal and we had to bring on Eddie Nketiah. Guy, like, that's not good enough. I want you to bring on, if Gyokeres is not able to score against the Bayern when we're playing in the Champions League next time, I want it to be Kai Havertz coming off the. I think that I'll still risk Kai Havertz over Nketiah when it comes to playing as a center forward. So for me, those are the kind of key things I want. I just want us to be strong in every aspect. 2 players each. If one is injured, one can step up. So if we get a Nico Williams with the Bukayo Saka, great, like perfect. I'm happy with that.
Bro, Deo, I'll be honest, the team that gets Nico Williams, they're going to be very happy. The team that gets Xavi Simons, they might have to overpay, but if they get him on loan, they're going to be very happy. If Marcus Rashford joins Arsenal, I would be happy. But Pedro Neto just seems like the one that we're going to stay away from, stay clear.
Yeah, too many injuries. And I like him. I like him as a player. I think he would be perfect at Arsenal, but availability for me is the best ability. If you're not available, I can't. The manager
And
can't
bringing it
use
back
you,
to Viktor
you know,
Gyokeres
so-
before we go. Yes, no, maybe. What do you think? Do you think Viktor Gyokeres is the guy we actually end up getting, or another smokescreen? Because at this point, I honestly don't think Arsenal are going to go for a striker.
If we get Gyokeres, I won't be mad. He can score. He knows where the back of the net is. And playing in an Arsenal team that has domination of the ball, where we dominate the ball a lot, and you know, we're able to break down teams. I think he will. I think yeah. I think he would. I think he would bang in a lot of goals for us. So for the price, I mean, it is what it is in this market these days. Let's be honest. It's almost like the market now is like everybody's 75, 80 million, 65, 100 million.
Crazy
Like
money.
that's what the market is. And sadly, it is what it is. We can't run away from that. The days of getting a good player for 24, 25 million is over.
Non-existent.
Non-existent right now. Every player is 50 million and above, basically. Every club is writing in, clauses.
50 million plus what? Emil Smith-Rowe, Eddie Nketiah for who?
Bruno Guimaraes.
No, that's not happening. And then they don't want Eddie Nketiah. And then what about this one? Igal Deo, would you take Ferran Torres at Arsenal? Yeah, I would take Ferran Torres.
I'll take him. He's a good player. I'll take him.
He could play across the front three. He could play.
Yeah.
He could cover for Saka. He could, but he's just basically like Jesus.
Yeah, he is. But I mean, at the end of the day, look, bruh, if I can have chaotic players like that come off the bench, like, I mean, if Bukayo Saka is tired after playing Champions League Tuesday, playing this on Saturday, and then there's an FA Cup, or he's playing a game and you want to sub him and you're bringing in Gabriel Jesus on the right, that's quality for quality. You know, I'm happy to have that type of team. I don't want to remove Kai Havertz and put Eddie Nketiah. I want to take out Kai Havertz, and it's either Viktor Gyokeres or take out Gyokeres and put Kai Havertz. You know, right now on the left, Martinelli wasn't banging in last season for some reason, but I hope he gets his act together and he's back to his good form. But I have Leandro Trossard and I have Martinelli on the left there that I think both of them can do the business. You know, I mean, Trossard gave us double-digit GA last season, literally. You know, and he's at his age, he's like he's 29 now.
He's balling, bro.
Yeah, he's balling. He's 29. He's
Okay,
going to probably ball for, so.
I know you gotta go, and I just want to say thank you for your time. Sorry, I have interrupted you several times throughout the stream, but I'm just trying to keep the conversation moving.
I totally understand, man.
And big up everyone in the chat. Hopefully you guys enjoyed these videos. I'd rather do the lives than do uploads, because sometimes when I do uploads, I just feel like it's not as good because we don't get to engage with the comments and we don't get to speak to everybody. But if you guys are watching live or you're watching the playback, please do let me know. Do you guys prefer the live streams or do you prefer the uploads? And if you want, I can do more uploads also. But for now, I'll leave you guys there. Deo, go enjoy yourself on Never Foul and have yourself a wonderful day. I'll catch you on the next stream. Big up everyone in the comment section.
Peace.
And I'll catch you guys on the next one. Peace. Love for the love, people.